It is so much fun to travel the world, especially for me, a farm boy from Idaho. I didn't have many skills when I first awakened to the opportunity that, you could work for pay. I knew how to milk cows, but that was about it, and it didn't pay very well. But when I was introduced to network marketing, health and nutrition, a marketing system where I could start at the bottom, go to the top, and start part-time, it literally revolutionized and changed my life forever. I've never been the same. A big share of my story now is sharing this extraordinary opportunity with people around the world, along with the philosophy that makes it work. You can have every technique in the world, the best product in the world, and the finest support system in the world. But unless you have the philosophy that drives you to do the necessary things to make it work, nothing works. So, I like to talk about all the things that made it work for me and see if that might be valuable for someone else. I want you to take some good notes. If you're ready to take notes, say, I'm ready. I like this crowd already. Treat me well, and I might take you with me as my traveling audience. Now here's the next key to being prepared for the next century: your personal philosophy. At age 25, the thing that so dramatically changed my life was, number one, the discovery of a unique product that I could believe in. My mother taught nutrition and good health, and I was the beneficiary of that. It came from my grandmother, who passed it on to my mother. She taught it and passed it on to me. My father never had a major illness and lived to be 93. My mother extended her life, according to the doctor, by at least 20 years. She should have died at least 20 years earlier than she did, simply because she stretched out those years through the study of good nutrition. I was an only child, and Mama studied and mixed up all that stuff back then. She'd say, hey, me and Papa and I drink this stuff. If it doesn't kill us, I think it'll help. When we were breaking down this stuff, Mama taught all of that. But the payoff was incredible. I passed it on to my 2 daughters. They've never been ill. They passed it on to their children, my grandchildren, who haven't been ill. The study of good nutrition, paying attention, and being involved in the industry you're in is one of the best. So, that's so important. Your personal philosophy, what you believe in, is going to carry you into the next century. Let me give you now some of the early philosophies that changed my life forever. I heard one of them in my introduction. Some of these philosophies have lived with me all of these years. I passed them on, and people have come back around saying, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, I sat in your class and seminar, and those early things you taught, I practiced them and am doing them. A man not long ago said, I took notes 23 years ago and then had you sign those notes. I've used these notes to develop my personal and business life. When I took those notes, I was 18 years old. And it's incredible. I'm so thankful for all these years. But now, I want to pass along to you some of the philosophies that changed my life forever. If you're ready, say, I'm ready. Here's the first one. Profits are better than wages. Once I understood that, I got rich. Nobody taught me that in high school. I went to college for 1.5 years and never heard it. At 25, I was broke. Not destitute, just broke. Too much month at the end of the money is broke. And then I finally heard this philosophy. Profits are better than wages. Now here's the phrase that goes with it. Wages make you a living, which is fine. Profits make you a fortune, which is super fine. And you can live both fine and super fine. You've now got the mechanism and the ways and means to do that. Profits are better than wages. Guess what? I taught this in Moscow when I was teaching capitalism. The communists had it all wrong. They taught that capitalism was a big company that oppresses its workers. It was absolutely ridiculous. They had mentally lost it when they came up with this philosophy. Communism taught that capital belongs to the state, not the people. We taught all these years that capital belongs in the hands of the people, not the state. That's why we pay taxes, because we can be capitalists, and all capitalists should pay taxes. It doesn't take much to start an enterprise that makes a profit. I teach kids 2 skills, one to buy and one to sell. How long does it take to make a profit? With a little ingenuity, you're on your way. So profits are better than wages. Capitalism is better than communism. Communism said people are too dumb and stupid to know what to do with capital. So you must take capital away from all the dumb, stupid people and give it to the all-wise, all-knowing state and let the state run everything. That was communism, and they devastated every country they touched. I've been to East Germany. It's taking $1 trillion just to clean up East Germany. They've already spent $500 billion and have $500 billion more to go. Every country they touched, and I've been in all of them, they devastated with their philosophy. We teach that capital belongs in the hands of the people. That's where the ingenuity is to bring goods and services to the marketplace. I'm going to show you later the miracle of grassroots capitalism in America, which you're involved in. Once I understood this, it was incredible. Profits are better than wages. When I was first recruited, I became a distributor for this little product called Abunda Vita. My mentor, Mr. Shoaff, said, "John, you can start this miracle working business part-time. You don't have to go full-time. You can start part-time." He said, "If you devote to start with, let's say, 10, 12, 15 hours a week, you'll start making a profit. Here's what you can now say. I'm working full-time on my job and part-time on my fortune because profits lead to fortune." I got so excited about that philosophy. I'm working full-time on my job, but now I'm working part-time on my fortune. I've found a way not only to make a living, you won't believe this, I've found a way to make a fortune. Can you imagine what that's like then? To get up in the morning to go to work on your fortune, not to go to work to pay the rent, which is okay, but a chance to go to work to make a fortune. I said, right now I'm working part-time on my fortune and full-time on my job, but it won't be long until I'll be working full-time on my fortune. Can you imagine what life is going to be like? My first goal when I started was part-time. I wanted to equal on my profits part-time what I was earning on my full-time job. This is called the magic of part-time. It is so thrilling for people to start working the business part-time because now you can work on profits. It doesn't take very long. If you really concentrate on those 10, 12, 15 hours a week, it won't be long if you really do it right and learn some of the skills I'm going to talk about, until you can be earning as much part-time working on your fortune as you are full-time working on your job. I did that in less than 6 months. Now I've got an incredible invitation. I found a way part-time to work on my fortune, and I'm making as much money at that as I am in my full-time job. Would you like to hear my story? It was incredible. Here was my second goal, to make twice as much money, part-time working on my fortune, as I was working full-time on my job. I reached that goal in less than a year, making twice as much money part-time working on my fortune as I was full-time working on my job. Now, I've got an incredible invitation that won't quit. I found a way, through a unique opportunity, to work part-time on my fortune, and I'm now earning twice as much money as I am working full-time on my job. Would you like to hear my story? Can you imagine anybody saying, "No, I don't care to hear your story"? No. Everybody I said that to replied, "Wow, yes. What are you doing?" I said, "I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. When I started making twice as much money part-time as full-time, here was my dilemma. I didn't want to go full-time. Why not go full-time? The reason was that I didn't want to give up my electrifying story. It was so powerful. Nobody could resist the invitation to at least take a look. I didn't want to give it up, and I hung on for I don't know how long, until it was almost insane. Then finally, reluctantly, I gave up my full-time job. But now, you can imagine the thrill and excitement of going to work full-time on my fortune. It was incredible. But I want you to jot down the magic of part-time. What does it take to really change a person's lifestyle? Not very much. An extra $1,000 a month, I'm telling you, would drastically change most American families' lifestyles. And that's why part-time is so valuable, because it very quickly changes a person's lifestyle. And here's what the change in lifestyle does. It's a great recruiting tool. One of the greatest recruiting attractions is the money you make part-time. Somebody says, "You've been on 3 vacations this year." You say, I got this little part-time thing going. They ask, "What's that?" You bought 2 new cars, one for you and one for her. How did you do that? You reply, "I got this little part-time thing going." Your kids have got all these new clothes. Yes, all this stuff is happening. What is it? An extra $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month full-time? Nobody wants to hear your story. 1,000 a month part-time. It starts to change your lifestyle. Everybody wants to hear your story. So the key is part-time. The magic and the attraction of part-time give you a classic invitation for somebody to listen to what you're doing that's changing your life. And it's not just necessarily the money that changes your life, it's what you do with the money. It's the change of lifestyle. So part-time helps to change the lifestyle, which gives you a classic invitation to look at what you're doing. That's how I started in network marketing at age 25. Wow! These philosophies changed my life. I wish I had learned them in high school. If they had offered Wealth 1 and Wealth 2, I would have taken both classes. I wouldn't have waited until I was 25 and broke. Here's the next philosophy that helped change my life. It's not what happens that determines your life's future. It's not what happens that determines your life's future. It's what you do about what happens. All of us are like in a little sailboat, and it's not the blowing of the wind that determines your destination. It's the set of the sail. So just jot this phrase down. It's one of the best to understand. Kids need to understand that the same wind blows on us all. The same wind blows on us all. The wind of disaster, the wind of opportunity, the wind of change, the wind when it's upside down, the wind when it's favorable and unfavorable. The same wind blows on us all. The economic wind, the social wind, the political wind. The difference in where you arrive in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, the difference in arrival is not the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sail. That's what learning is all about. To set a better sail this year than last year to set a better sail. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. The second 6 years, I wound up rich. You might say, well, the Democrats must have finally gotten power. No, it was not a political change. Here's what changed in the second 6 years of my economic life. It was my philosophy that changed the set of the sail, better thinking, correcting the errors of the past, and picking up new disciplines for the future. That's all I had to do at the end of the first 6 years. Correct the errors of the past, and then pick up some new disciplines for the future. My total life changed. The second 6 years were totally different from the first 6 of my working life. And guess who can do that? Anybody. You can keep on the same path for the next couple of years as you have the past 2. But if you wish to, and maybe everything's okay for you and you don't need to, but if you need to make some changes, I'm telling you, you can start doing it today so that the next 2 years will be drastically different from the last 2. Anybody who wishes to do that can, and you can do it between ages 40 and 43. You can do it between ages 13 and 50. You can do it between ages 60 and 62. Any 2 years, any 5 years that you wish to drastically change from the previous 5, you can do it if you wish to. Now, this isn't written. This is not a law. Here's what it's called: opportunity. But if you don't know you can change, if you don't know you can drastically change your income, change your future, change your health, change your marriage, change everything. If you don't know that, some people will go year after year, not making much change simply because they didn't get to the class. They never read the book. They never went to the seminar. They never made the discovery. They didn't seek the knowledge of how to make their life better. If you just drift along, it's okay. Anybody can live any way they choose. But I'm here to tell all of you that if you wish to, it's possible to make the next 3 years totally different from the last 3. And all you have to do is just a few things. So we've got that one. Now, it's not the blowing of the wind that determines your income. It's not the blowing of the wind that determines your fortune. It's the set of the sail. That's why we gathered here today. Maybe I've got some ideas that will help you with a couple of little things about setting the sail of your thinking that might drastically give you multiplied more benefit in the next 3 years than you've gotten in the last 3. So it's not what happens. What happens to everybody. Chevron, years ago, brought me in to talk to management. They said, "Mr. Rohn, you travel around the world and you're fairly knowledgeable. What do you think the next 10 years are going to be like?" I said, "Gentlemen, I can tell you, I do know the right people." So they all leaned forward and listened carefully. I said, "Gentlemen, the next 10 years are going to be about like the last 10. The next season after fall is winter. I promise you that's not going to change. After day comes night. I promise you, that's not going to change. Here's how the last 6,000 years read if you want to make a note of Jim Rohn's vision of history. The last 6,000 years read, opportunity mixed with difficulty. And if we're around another 6,000 years, it's going to read like that. Looks like for the next 6,000 years, opportunity mixed with difficulty. Sometimes there seems to be more opportunity than difficulty, and then sometimes there seems to be more difficulty than opportunity. But the mix isn't going to change. After expansion comes recession, but after recession comes expansion. Not to think so is naive. And once you've got just a little of this stuff settled, then you know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to anticipate. So you can be ready. Here's the next philosophy that changed my life. For things to change, you have to change. I was hoping the government would change, that taxes would change, that the economy would change, and that my boss would be more generous. I wished for everything to change except myself. But my mentor taught me, no, Mr. Rohn, for things to change for you, you have to change. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Once I understood this, it altered the course of my life. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. You don't need fewer problems, you simply need more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. Accept the challenge because you can't grow without it. You can't get rich without a challenge. You can't fly without gravity. You have to understand the challenge. The key is to develop wisdom to overcome the challenge. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. Another philosophy that helped change my life forever is this: humans can do the most remarkable things no matter what happens. This understanding can drastically change your life. One of the big philosophies I learned in network marketing is called the law of averages. If you do something often enough, a ratio will appear. In baseball, we call it batting average. If you talk to 10 people and one says yes, now you have a ratio of 1 out of 10. Once the ratio starts, it tends to continue. This is colossal information. Here's how you can compete. If you can only get 1 out of 10 and someone else can get 9 out of 10, you can still beat them in a 30-day contest by talking to more people. During that 30 days, if you talk to 100 people, you'll get 10 yeses. The other person might only talk to 10 people and get 9 yeses. You win by sheer numbers. This strategy works because you make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Who can do this? Anybody with ambition and a little ingenuity. The law of averages can be improved. If you get 1 out of 10, keep practicing. Eventually you'll get 2 out of 10, then 3 out of 10. With practice, you can improve your ratio. Even if you only get 3 out of 10, you can still be highly successful. In baseball, batting 300 earns you $4 million a year, even though you're out 7 times out of 10. In your business, you don't have to bat 1,000 to make big money. Getting 1 out of 10 is fine, 2 out of 10 is terrific, and 3 out of 10 is fabulous. Even if someone can get 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10 is sufficient to make you rich beyond your wildest imagination. When I started recruiting, I told my friends and neighbors about my new business, saying I was getting about 3 out of 10 to join. I asked them to come to the meeting and be one of the 7. I told them, it doesn't matter to me if you buy or join. I just need 10 to get 3. This way, they couldn't say I never gave them the opportunity. The second law that changed my life in network marketing is the law of sowing and reaping. This also includes the law of averages. The story of the sower from the Bible illustrates this perfectly. The sower was ambitious and had excellent seed. Despite this, some seeds fell by the wayside and were eaten by birds. This means some opportunities will be lost to external factors beyond your control. When this happens, you must discipline your disappointment and keep sowing. The sower kept on sowing, and eventually, some seeds fell on good ground. The seeds that fell on rocky ground with shallow soil grew but withered in the hot sun. This illustrates that some people will initially show interest but won't stick around. Again, discipline your disappointment and keep sowing. Some seeds fell among thorns and were choked to death. This means some people will be distracted by little things and won't take advantage of the opportunity. You can't change this, you just have to keep sowing. Finally, some seeds fell on good ground and produced a harvest. Some produce 30-fold, some 60-fold, and some 100-fold. This variation is natural, and you must let people perform to the best of their ability. The key is to keep sowing and to develop new skills. Learning sales multiplied my income by 5. It wasn't difficult because farm country didn't pay well. Sales, getting customers, and laying the foundation for an entrepreneurial career were crucial. With skills in milking cows and making sales, my life changed dramatically. Here's the next one I learned that changed me forever, and that's recruiting. Introducing the business opportunity to new people. Learning how to give a good invitation. Learning how to give 2 kinds of presentations, formal and informal. The third part of recruiting, of course, is following up. Once you start a new life, now you've got to take care of it like a new mother would take care of her baby. You don't start a new life and abandon it. You start a new life and nourish it like a mother and protect it like a father. You've got to be both mother and father to a new person. Nourishment ideas like a mother, protection, and help to defend your new life against the encroachment of outside voices that would try to talk them out of it. So you've got to be mother and father in this art of recruiting. We call it being a sponsor. And being a sponsor is like being a bridge, helping somebody from darkness to light, from skepticism to faith, from not knowing to knowing, from having no confidence in themselves to starting to gain confidence. You're the bridge that helps people from the shadows to the sunlight. It's one of the most exciting positions to occupy in all of network marketing. Being this bridge is what the recruiting magic is all about. You've got the answers. They've been looking for the answers. You've got the answers, and you help them cross this bridge. You see something in them before they can see it in themselves. You assure them that it's possible to be more than they are. Therefore, they can earn more than they've got and have more than they possess. This is one of the great arts in the world. And here's what's exciting about this art. It pays big money. Because now you operate a unique philosophy taught first in the Bible. John Kennedy taught it in his inaugural speech. Zig Ziglar has got one of the best ways to put it, and that's the secret to wealth. The secret to wealth and fortune first taught in the Bible because the question was asked, how can we achieve greatness, great wealth, great power, great influence, great recognition, great self-esteem? How can we achieve greatness? The master teacher was asked, and here was his formula for achieving personal greatness. He said, find a way to serve the many. For service to many leads to greatness. For those that are interested, some people aren't interested, but for those that are, service to many leads to greatness. Someone says, well, the best I can do is just take care of myself, which is okay, but it doesn't lead to greatness. Someone says, I've got enough bills on my own, I can't worry about someone else's bills. That's okay, but it doesn't lead to greatness. Greatness is helping people pay their bills. You forget about yours because if you help enough people pay theirs, yours disappear. Help people with problems, and your problems disappear. The key to greatness the master teacher taught is finding a way. Now, a lot of people would like to serve many people, but they don't have a way. And what's exciting about you and your business is you've now got the way. Whether you use it or not is up to you. Whether you cash it in or not is up to you. Whether you make a fortune or just a little, that's all up to you. Each person's ambition is called the same marketing, the same product. The products are the same for everybody here. The marketing system is the same. The difference is each person's philosophy and each person's individual ambition. But whatever your ambitions are, now you've got the ways and means. And here's what you've got the ways and means to do. Serve as many people as you would like. Now, here's what's exciting about recruiting with what you're involved in here. You can directly and indirectly affect the lives of dozens of people. Some of you are going to directly and indirectly affect the lives of hundreds of people. And some of you, if you wish, can directly and indirectly affect the lives of thousands of people. And the pay is accordingly. If you affect a few, you earn that pay. If you affect many, you earn that pay. But the secret is found in the Bible. Service to many leads to greatness. Now, John Kennedy said it in his inaugural speech. Here's what he said. Don't ask. Don't we wish that was the current political philosophy? Where is John Kennedy and his philosophy? John Kennedy said, don't ask. And that's important if you understand philosophy. He said, don't ask what the people can do for you. Don't ask what the country can do for you. Don't ask what the government can do for you. That's not how you get rich. That's not how you have high self-esteem. That's not how you get trophies to put on the mantle above the fireplace. Asking what the people can do for you. Don't ask, he said, what the people can do for you, but ask, what could I do for my country? And the country means the people. What could I do for the people? I want trophies. I want recognition. I want high self-esteem. I would even like a chance to make a fortune. John Kennedy said, it's easy. Don't ask what the people can do for you, but ask, what could I do for the people? Could I directly and indirectly serve many in my country? And now that you are participating in this program, the answer is yes. Now, Zig probably said it best. Zig's got some great stuff. Zig and I have been good friends for a lot of years. Zig says, money isn't everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen. Zig, you're right. Zig says, my dentist told me, Zig, only floss the teeth you want to keep. You know, forget the rest. But here, Zig is famous for this. Now, this is one of Zig's philosophies, and it goes right along with the other two, the Bible and John Kennedy. Here's what Zig says. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. Now, wanting everything you want, we call that self-interest. But it's okay to have self-interest if you do it in a positive way. By helping enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. Now, you can accomplish all that by learning this next skill called recruiting. And I learned it, and it made me fortunes. So now I've got 3 skills: milking cows, making sales, and recruiting. Here's the next skill I learned that paid big money: organizing. Once you've got a few, get them to work together. See? And that's magic. Getting people to work together is magic. Now, yes, it's challenging, like having several members of your family, getting them to work together. It's challenging, but it's magic. Getting husband and wife to work together, it's challenging, but it's magic. And it happens. But everything magic is challenging. Got that down? Everything magic is challenging. But once you figure out the challenge and go for it, then the magic occurs. Let me tell you how magical people working together is. Let me quote the Bible again. It says, if 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing is impossible. Just try that on for your mental size. If 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing's impossible. Everybody's looking for a challenge. Here's what I teach, especially to kids. Here's the best challenge in the world. Let's go do it. Not you go do it, let's go do it. If 2 or 3 of us decide on a common purpose to do it, nothing's impossible. Incredible. Working together. Organizing. Now, when everybody is independent, it's a little more challenging, like having kids. They've got their own opinions. They've got their own ambitions and desires. It's challenging. You've got a variety, but that's what makes life interesting, the variety. And it is in your business. It is challenging getting people to work together. It's like herding cats. You know, sheep are easy, but try herding cats. But if you can possibly get it done, the power is so immense when you get people to work together. Here's one of the powers of working together. Shared testimonials. If I've got somebody new and you're there and I'm there, I give them my testimonial, you give your testimonial. Maybe what tips the scales in getting me a new person is not my testimonial, but my partner's testimonial. Somebody I'm working with, their testimonial got them. Shared testimonials are so powerful. That's why working together is so powerful. Now, working by yourself is okay. All this stuff is okay. Everybody needs to know the advantages, and these are some of the advantages. I learned to organize, and it paid big money. Here's what I next learned to do. Promote promotion. Promotion now pays staggering money. The company comes up with what we call major promotions. Here's what you've got to come up with: the smaller promotions. The company comes up with major recognition. You've got to come up with small recognition for the people around you. The company has its top 5, and you've got your own top 5 in maybe 2 or 3 categories. Top 5, top 5, top 5. Those little recognitions help reach certain levels in the company, and you have to take major steps. But for your recognition, let them take small steps. Here's one of the secrets of your kind of business: rewarding people for small steps of progress. Sometimes it's just recognition, a handshake, a pat on the back. Mary, you're doing a fabulous job, and you figure out what those recognitions are. Small steps of progress. Guess what? Promotion pays if you learn it will bring big money. Getting people to do something they wouldn't ordinarily do by themselves. People will do some unique things by themselves. But if you can figure out a way to say, Mary, if you do this and this, she says, well, I'll go for it. She wouldn't have thought of that on her own. Here's what works. Magic. It's better than money. Money is a bit unimportant. Here's what's important: ingenuity. The best place to wake up your ingenuity is what you're doing right now, representing a unique product and getting customers, recruiting distributors, and promoting. Ingenuity. Figuring out a way. If it doesn't work this way, it will work another way. I used my ingenuity and made a fortune. My ingenuity worked on doing all these campaigns: the spring campaign, the summer campaign, and the winter campaign. This week, we're going to recruit school teachers. How many of you have got school teachers? This is School Teacher Week. School teacher money. I pick out a little category and say, let's go for it. It doesn't matter what it is. Just dream up something so that somebody's got a little more objective to go for than just their own. Key phrase. We all need to belong to something bigger than ourselves because we furnish inspiration for what's bigger, and the bigger furnishes inspiration for us. I learned promotion, and it paid big money. Here's next. I learned communication, how to conduct a meeting. I learned ID, logic, and reason. Attack and confess solution. Simple deals. Communication wasn't easy for me at first. I stood up to give my first presentation, and my mind sat back down. Right? You all have been through that. Opened my mouth and nothing came out for a while. But here's what I did. I did it again. Just jot that phrase down. I did it again. That's the secret to how I got here. 35, 40 years later, it's how I got here. I did it once. It was uncomfortable. That first presentation was so lousy. If I hadn't been doing it, I'd have gone home. It was not that good. But here's the secret of how I got here. I did it again, and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and I did it again. I remember when I first decided to be a little more animated and walk out away from the podium, get out from just behind the podium. So I got out there, and then I thought, how do you get back? Well, I'm stranded out here. Remember those times doing something for the first time? But you learn quickly in your business, right? In your business, a guy stands up to give his first testimonial and he's so nervous he forgets his own name, right? And 30 days later, he wants to give a 3-hour testimonial. We hardly get him off the stage. So learn communication, how to affect other people with words. That's the greatest art in the world. To learn how to affect other people with words. Key phrase. Don't be lazy in language. If you learn to use the gift of your own language wisely, it can make you a fortune and build an incredible life. Here are 3 other things I learned. 1 is to train. Training people on how the business works. I also use another word. Teach. Train and teach. Training involves showing people how the business works, while teaching encompasses how life works. We all need business skills and life skills for the 21st century. Life skills are leadership skills, such as learning how to set goals. Now here's the ultimate skill to learn that can transform your life and the life of anyone who will listen. The ability to inspire. Inspire means helping people look up a little higher than where they are and wish they could get there. Inspire them to believe it's possible. We inspire through our own testimonials. If I can do it, you can do it. We also inspire through others' testimonials. If they can do it, Mary, you can do it. It's about getting people to see themselves as better than they are, richer than they are, more capable next year than they are this year, and envisioning their future potential. To help both your kids and your people, here's what you must learn to do. Number 1, help people see themselves as they are. If people have made mistakes, they need to know it. You can't go on making mistakes and hope to achieve. Mistakes must be corrected. You must do this with your children too. Help them see themselves as they are. If they've messed up, you need to say, "You've messed up." But as a parent, don't leave them in the mess. Some parents tell their kids they've messed up and then leave them in the mess without painting a better picture. You need to show them what they could become with just a couple of changes. So, we must help our children see themselves as they are. But the greatest gift is to help them see themselves better than they are. Transport them not only past their mistakes, but to the future, where they see their opportunity and the person they can become. My mentor had the greatest gift, helping me see myself better than I was. At first, it was difficult to see, but then I started to believe, and that's how I got here today. He said, "One of these days, Mr. John, you'll walk into a room full of people, and you will hear some of them say, 'That's him, that's the famous man.'" I thought, well, that could never happen to me. He said, "Trust me, if you keep working hard on the disciplines like you're doing right now, that will happen. You'll walk into a room full of people and you'll hear one say, 'That's him. That's the famous man.'" He saw it and tried to get me to see it, and now finally it's happened. I think when I walked in here today, I heard someone say, "That's him, that's the famous man." If it happened for me, it can happen for you. Just master these skills to inspire. Here's what else I learned. The skills of building an organization. Learn to work with the people who deserve it, not the people who need it. You must be like life itself and respond to those who deserve it, not those who need it. It doesn't say if you need, you will have a harvest. It doesn't say if you need a harvest, you'll have a harvest. It says if you plant, chances are good you'll have a harvest. If you plant, you will reap. Not if you need, you will reap. So we must be like life itself, responding to the people who deserve it by planting, by taking the first step. Even God himself says, "If you move toward me, I'll move toward you." That's the condition. You move toward me, I'll move toward you, says the Almighty. He could also say, "You don't move, I don't move." You might think that's arbitrary, but when you're God, you can set it up that way. So learn to work with the people who deserve it, not the people who need it. Now here's the next step. Teach people how to earn your time and attention. Show them that if they take a step, you'll take two. If they take two, you'll take five. But if they don't step, neither do you. This approach encourages mutual effort and support. Next, I learned to work more with groups than individuals. Here's why. 80% of the people do 20% of the business. So focus on the 20% who do most of the work individually and work with the rest as a group. Group work is powerful and less confrontational. As a sponsor, remember you can help 1,000, but you can't carry 3 on your back. Some people will try to rely on you too much. Don't let them. Encourage independence and growth. People must learn to stand on their own feet. Another key lesson is not to expect a pear tree to bear apples. You cannot change people, but they can change themselves. The real value in your business is not just money, but the skills and ambition of the people involved. I always looked for willingness and ingenuity in people, not just their financial resources. Even if they had little money, their ambition was enough to get started. Understanding this principle helped me know I was going to be successful. Lastly, living a good life is more valuable than any material possession. Here's my short list for a good life. Productivity. If you don't produce, you won't be happy. Good friends, they are the greatest support system. Spirituality. Whether you are a believer or not, study, practice, and teach what is valuable to you. Don't miss anything. Engage with life fully. Attend events, enjoy music, and be present in moments. Take care of your inner circle. They will inspire and support you. Finally, ask for God's help. While human effort is essential, divine assistance can guide and enhance your journey. By participating in the miracle process, you can change lives, build a remarkable organization, and leave a lasting legacy. Thank you for listening. Remember, you can make this your best year ever. Here's to your success.